All right, let's just dive right into this explainer. Today, we're going to completely dismantle that classic cliche of the fast-talking, pushy salesperson. You know the exact type I'm talking about, right? The ones who kind of corner you, pitch nonstop, and literally won't let you get a single word in edgewise. Pop culture has fed us this image for decades, this incredibly loud, aggressive character who can talk anybody into buying anything. But you know, when we actually look at the data, the research, and the real-world mechanics of effective communication, that stereotype just completely falls apart. So we're going to explore what truly drives persuasion, influence, and genuine human connection.
To kick things off, I want to hook you with a legendary, seemingly impossible question. What does it take to sell ice to an Eskimo? It's basically the ultimate test of persuasion, right? I mean, how on earth do you convince someone to acquire something they already have in absolute, overwhelming abundance? Keep this specific riddle tucked in the back of your mind as we go through this material. We actually aren't going to answer it until the very end of our journey today. Because, well, to truly answer it, we first have to unlearn pretty much everything we think we know about how influence works in the modern world.
Section 1. Rethinking the sales formula. Moving beyond the extrovert myth.
So we really have to start by debunking this pervasive myth that professional persuasion is a game strictly reserved for natural-born extroverts. It's just a fundamental misunderstanding of human interaction. The truth is, a successful sales equation requires a highly learnable toolkit of empathy and understanding to overcome what is essentially constant rejection. And honestly, the source material highlights that this is one of the toughest jobs out there precisely because of that relentless daily rejection. Think about how much that stings. To succeed and to protect your own energy, you have to find a highly strategic middle ground. Sure, extroverts might find it super easy to strike up a conversation at the coffee shop, but that initial hello is nowhere near enough to build lasting trust. The real magic happens when you realize that crucial competencies, things like active listening, emotional intelligence, and relationship building, they aren't innate traits hardwired into your DNA. They're skills. And because they're skills, they can be systematically learned, actively practiced, and masterfully applied by absolutely anyone.
Section 2. The art of active listening. Hearing with your eyes and ears.
Think about it. You just cannot successfully solve a problem that you haven't properly diagnosed. And true listening? It means totally forgetting your own script. It means not worrying about what you're going to say next while the other person is still talking. Now, I know that sounds incredibly simple, but it is actually really difficult in practice. Just think about the last time you were trying to explain something super important to someone, and you could clearly see they were just waiting for their turn to talk. It's so frustrating, right? It makes you just want to shut down. Well, active listening is the exact opposite of that. It means offering your undivided, hyper-focused attention. You look them right in the eyes, you concentrate entirely on their specific plight, and, this is the big one, you absolutely do not interrupt. By doing this, you're silently building immense trust, really encouraging them to open up and share the underlying details of what they actually need from you.
Now, let's compare two different verbal responses. On one hand, you have repeating a customer exactly, literally like a parrot. On the other hand, you have tactfully putting their problem into your own words. If you just repeat exactly what they said verbatim, sure, technically that confirms the meaning, but honestly, it can actually make the other person doubt if you genuinely get it. I mean, parrots can repeat words perfectly, but they have zero comprehension of what those words actually mean. But if you take their speech, distill it down to its core issue, and put it into your own thoughtful words, wow, that leaves an immediate and lasting impression. It proves to the other person that you didn't just hear the noise coming out of their mouth, you fully processed the complex meaning behind it.
Section 3. Mastering Body Language. The Silent Conversation.
Okay, get ready for a staggering fact. 55%. That is how much of our communication is completely nonverbal, consisting entirely of body language. Just take a second to think about the weight of that number. More than half of what you're saying to someone, the fundamental message you're projecting into the room, is being transmitted through your posture, your eyes, and your physical movements, literally before you even open your mouth to say hello.
So to make someone truly feel heard, you've got to constantly monitor your own body language to match their mood. You want to remain open and use small, encouraging gestures. Like if they're talking about a serious, highly stressful problem, your face shouldn't be grinning widely, right? And if they're completely relaxed, you shouldn't be sitting there all stiff, tense, and entirely closed off. It's about using gentle nods, appropriate, comfortable eye contact, and small vocalizations, like, or right, to silently prove that you are highly engaged in the moment. You're basically creating this warm, psychological mirror that makes them feel comfortable, safe, and entirely validated in whatever they happen to be expressing.
Section 4. The Power of Voice. Pitch, Speed, and Volume.
Building right on top of body language, we have to recognize that the actual tone of your voice heavily reflects your level of understanding. It isn't just about the vocabulary you meticulously select, it's the vehicle delivering those words. You really have to match the other person's speaking speed and pitch. Because if a fast speaker talks to a slow listener, they will sound hurried and dismissive. Imagine someone who speaks very deliberately and thoughtfully, choosing every single word carefully. If you swoop in talking a mile a minute, they're going to feel like you're just trying to get rid of them. Conversely, if you're talking to someone who is naturally quick, highly energetic, and straight to the point, speaking too slowly is going to completely frustrate them. You have to actively adapt your pitch, your speed, and your volume to seamlessly align with theirs.
Section 5. Empathy in action. Seeing through the buyer's eyes. Really, empathy is the glue that makes every single tool we've discussed actually work. You don't have to agree with every single opinion they have, but saying this one simple phrase, "I understand what you are going through," shows you're stepping directly into their shoes to help resolve their specific challenge. Empathizing doesn't mean you automatically validate everything they think. It just means you genuinely comprehend their perspective. You're capable of seeing the world from their exact viewpoint. And when you successfully communicate that you intimately understand their struggle, the entire dynamic in the room shifts literally overnight. It completely transforms from a cold, sterile transaction into a genuine mutual collaboration.
Section 6. Selling ice to Eskimos. Solving the ultimate problem.
And this brings us full circle to the very foundation of sales. When you strip away all the advanced techniques, the mirroring, the active listening, what is this really all about? Well, people don't buy products, they buy solutions and convenience. Think about ready-to-eat food saving precious evening time for busy working parents, or radio cabs saving commuters from the intense stress of navigating rush hour traffic. Nobody wakes up desperately wanting to buy a drill, they just want a hole in their wall. Innovations don't succeed just because they're technologically advanced or shiny and new. They succeed primarily because they seamlessly remove friction from our everyday lives. They offer supreme convenience, and they offer real tangible solutions to everyday frustrating challenges.
So here we are. How do you sell ice to an Eskimo when they have it for absolutely free all around them? Well, you solve a problem. Sure, they might have a vast frozen landscape stretching as far as the eye can see, but harvesting that ice, that is freezing, exhausting, backbreaking, totally miserable labor. If you step in, do the hard work, break it, carve it into perfectly usable, convenient blocks, and deliver it right to their doorstep, well, you aren't really selling ice anymore, are you? You're selling extreme convenience. You're selling back their free time. You're selling physical relief from the grueling chore. And that right there is the true answer to the riddle. That is exactly how you sell ice to an Eskimo.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a final, really important thought. The next time you need to persuade someone, whether that's in a massive boardroom or just sitting in your own living room, will you just push a product or an idea, or will you listen deeply enough to offer a true solution? Remember, the tools are all right there for you to use. Active listening, mirroring body language, matching vocal tone, and deploying deep, genuine empathy. It is absolutely no longer about being the loudest, most extroverted person in the room. It's entirely about being the most understanding. Think deeply about that as you go into your next big conversation.